Negative 24 degrees Celsius. This is probably the coldest that I have ever been. What's going on, everybody? It's Charles. I am currently behind the wheel of an Audi A3 1.5 liter hatchback in the middle of nowhere in northern Finland, actually going about 80 kilometers per hour on a completely snow-covered road, being very cautious and aware that there's reindeer everywhere. I am up here doing some winter tire testing with Nokian. Not long ago, I saw this question pop up on a Facebook group, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to hopefully put this topic to bed once and for all. The question is, when you're getting two tires only, where do the new tires or where do the best tires go on your car? Should you put them on the front? Should you put them on the back? Left side? Only on the right side? Where's the best and the safest place to put new tires on your car? All right, so I am riding shotgun in an Audi SQ5. This is Matti from Nokian Tire. We are right near the White Hell test facility where you guys test all your winter tires. Very beautiful place. And I have a question. When you get new tires, if you can only afford two or it only makes sense to do two, where should those new tires go?
If you have a situation that you have only two new tires and you have to put it on your car, that kind of situation, I always recommend, no depending is it a front wheel driven or rear wheel driven or four wheel driven car, always put the better tires to rear axle for safety reasons.
So no matter what kind of drive vehicle you have, new tires go in the rear. Now, I've heard people make a really good case for putting the best tires or the new tires on the front. Our front wheels steer. Our front wheels do the primary amount of braking. Front wheel drive cars, that's responsible for accelerating the vehicle. Why would we go with all those really true, very true things? What's the reasoning behind putting the best tires on the rear?
The problem is on the real traffic situation when you are driving on, for example, on the highway and you have to make a lane change. And if you have a bad grip under your car and you have the worst tires on your rear axle, it might happen so that in the lane change your car starts to oversteer, and that means that you lose control on the rear axle, and it's a very dangerous situation. It's much better if you are a little bit understeer, but oversteering on the real traffic situation, that's the worst possible situation, and that's why we always recommend to put better tires to rear axle.
So in an oversteer situation, a little bit of steering input is causing the vehicle to turn quite a bit more. In an understeer situation, it takes more steering input to get the car to behave in what you're trying to make it do. We see this in the difference between a front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive all the time. A front-wheel drive car has more natural understeer than a rear-wheel drive car has. So even though a great case can be made for front tires getting the best tires should be installed, or the new tires should be installed in the rear. It's sort of like a vehicle alignment. Everything tracks off the back. So if the back's not right, the front's not going to be right. It also kind of makes sense there too, because let's say we have a blowout in the front, we can control that. We have some impact we can have very easily, steer off, get off the road. If that happens in the rear, I think your odds of something catastrophic happening are much, much higher. And a lot of us, we're car enthusiasts, we love performance driving. I think it's pretty safe to say that the average driver isn't that driver.
Yeah, you are right. That's the reason why we recommend that way.
What about wear difference or tread depth difference between the front and the rear on the vehicle?
I always recommend when the tread depth difference between front and the rear axle is more than 2 mils, it's good idea to rotate the tires from front to the rear. And if you do it that way, you never get up that kind of situation that you have two worn out tire and two half worn tire. So that's why recommended rotation about 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers about, depending what kind of tires you have, what kind of road you have, and so on.
So you definitely want to make sure you're consulting your vehicle owner's manual or the book for the tires that you buy to see when the recommended service interval is. So doing those things like rotate and balance can help extend the life of your tire. And it's not just the actual depth of tread, it's how is the whole tire wearing overall. On that note, do you ever find that tires can actually age out where they get so old that they may have plenty of tread left, but you should replace them anyway due to age?
Yeah, actually here in Europe we have a rule, it's not a law, but it's a rule that maximum life on service is 6 years, total time for a tire under a car is 10 years. And after that, tire is so hard when we talk about tread compounding, it hardens every year, and that way over 10 years the tire is so hard that there is no grip anymore as it was in the new tire, and that's why we recommend to change it.
I read a rumor about snow tires, and we're in the perfect environment to talk about snow tires, that you can actually just put 2 snow tires on, either front or rear. We discussed that the best tires go in the rear, and that's going to be okay. What are your thoughts on that?
No, we never recommend to put that. Actually, there's a law, for example, in Scandinavia that under one car they have to be same kind of tires on the rear and the front axle. So according to law, it's not possible in Europe or in Scandinavia, and we don't recommend it in the US or Canada either, because that way there is a totally different kind of behavior if you have, for example, all seasons on the front and real winter tires on the rear. So that way we recommend always same kind of tires on the front and rear.
I've seen that personally on a GTI that had like performance tires on one axle and standard just regular all seasons, and in hard turns it would make the ABS go all kinds of crazy and cause the car to do really weird stuff. So you can't do 2 snow tires or 2 performance tires. You got to have the same tires all the way around your car. I also read that if you have 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, like my Golf R, my R32, you don't need winter tires, that just plain old all seasons will do just fine in inclement weather, bad weather like this.
Actually, it doesn't matter if you have 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. On real winter conditions, you need real winter tires, that's for sure.
So it doesn't matter. You got to have the right tires for the right application that you have. High performance, snow, ice, studded, unstudded, whatever, you got to have the right stuff.
Correct.
So super awesome chat with Matti from Nokian. Very cool dude, and he was really rumping that SQ5 through that. I don't even think it's a road. I think it was just a snowy path. It doesn't matter, front wheel drive like I'm driving now, it's true all wheel drive like a Torsen, or the faux all wheel drive like the Haldex system the Golf R and the R32 have, or rear wheel drive. We always want to make sure we're putting the best or the new tires in the back of the vehicle. In addition to that, it's so important to make sure that we're using the right tires for the right application. We saw how big of a change that the R32 made when I went from the pretty good tires I had on it to the ultra high performance tires that I did for the last few runs of autocross. Right now, I am driving on what I think is a road. I see no pavement, I see no asphalt, going up a snowy hill, and it's just like driving normally. I'm going 70 kilometers an hour, and I'm confident, one hand on the steering wheel, confident, and I'm confident and comfortable in the car. It's doing exactly what I expect. Right now, I'm actually riding around on Hakkapeliitta 8s with the studs, so like it's just normal daily driving. Very, very cool stuff. Make sure new tires go in the rear, make sure you got the right tires for the proper application, and I think it's worth adding, in an ideal situation, having 4 good tires is really, really the best approach. That doesn't always work, it doesn't always make sense, but in a perfect world, of course, that's what we would want to do. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Big ups to Nokian for bringing me up here, showing me around, giving me the full tire tour, letting me romp around in an RS4, an RS5, a Q5, and this A3 hatchback. Guys, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you again next time.